Hey guys, so I just finished making this leather stitching pony, and in a second I'll take you into the workshop and show you how I made it. But first I was going to really quickly go over just some of the features that I think make this a really good and unique stitching pony. The locking mechanism is a quick release, but I'll go more into that in a second. First, I just wanted to show you the coolest feature is that the jaws on this design are quickly removable and replaceable. So I can create custom jaws to suit any sort of different workpiece. I could make them really long, I could make them in a curve or an angle. So depending on what I'm working on at the time, I can have jaws that suit that workpiece perfectly, and I don't need to shift the workpiece around very much. So there's a clamp on the bottom that holds it in place, and this is adjustable so it can suit almost any different table you could have. And the base here is just a simple dovetail that allows it to sit on the edge of the table and lock in place. The locking mechanism is a quick release, and it's actually just a bicycle axle quick release clamp. And when it's in the locked position, there's nothing on the whole stitching pony that thread can get tangled on. There's a spring in the middle that keeps the arms pushed out and open, so they automatically want to open, so it's really easy to adjust your workpiece. You can adjust the distance of the jaws just by spinning the axle, and you can even do that while you've got a workpiece clamped in there. And the arms are actually adjustable too. You can raise and lower them so that when you've got a workpiece in, you can adjust the height that you're working at. And that's it. It's a really simple design. It was easy to build, and with the replaceable jaws, I think this is probably one of the most versatile stitching ponies I've ever seen. These are all the pieces. This is the base for the clamp, and it just goes together with a simple dovetail. And these holes are to connect the arms. The arms have a recess here for the jaw to attach to, and that just goes in with a machine screw, which is recessed so that there's nothing sticking out to catch on, and then holes here for this to go through, and some bolts for the arms. And this is just a basic quick release bicycle axle with a spring I've added to the center. So I'm going to make it out of this piece of cherry here. Right now I'm just going to get the pieces roughly cut out, get them planed and cleaned up, and I'll start shaping them from there. The dimensions don't actually matter that much in this project. You could scale any of the pieces up or down to suit your needs. It's more about the shape so that the whole thing comes together well. So here I'm just doing the layout for the arms. So now I'll get started on the base. I'm just going to cut this in two and add some dovetails to join them at a 90-degree angle. And I'll start with laying out the tails on the vertical piece. So I'll just clean up the tails, and then I can swap over and start doing the layout for the pins. Now I've jumped over into the metal shop so I can make the clamping mechanism that'll fit into the base. I'll mark out 3 spots for the clamp to insert so that it's adjustable and can fit just about any table. And I'll drill the holes for the clamp most of the way through, but I won't go all the way through. Now I'll get started with the jaws, and I'll just mark a small hole with the drill and then take it over to the drill press. I'll go all the way through here, and then I'll come back and with a larger drill bit I'll add a hole about 1/4 inch deep so I can inset a nut. Now I can attach the jaw with a machine screw and it won't be sticking out on the workpiece side. I'll line the jaws with leather so they can't mar the workpiece. I'll clamp 2 pieces of leather between the jaws, and this will just give me a sort of an average working distance between the 2 arms. And then I can use that to mark out the base for the arm placement. I'll just give everything a quick coat of oil before I do the final assembly. And now it can all go together. Choosing where to place the clamping mechanism is important. So the lower you go, the more workspace you have here for your leather to come through if you're working on something big. And the jaws open wider when you release the clamp, but that's at the sacrifice of less clamping pressure at the top. The higher you go, you get more clamping pressure, but you have this reduced workspace and the jaws don't open as wide when you release the clamp. One workaround is that you could have a few spots that the clamping mechanism can be installed, so you can adjust that depending on what your workpiece is. I'm just going to pick a happy medium to start with, and I might add some extra holes later. I'll add a hole with a Forstner bit so the nut can sit recessed a little bit. Then I'll drill a hole in each arm. And then I'll use a long bit just to make sure that the two holes are in alignment. So with this installed, it's just about done. Just push it down to lock it in. If you want to tighten it, you can just spin this around nice and tight here at the top. Flip it up to let go and lock it in again. If you need it wider for a thicker workpiece, just give it 1 or 2 turns, it'll widen up, and then you can lock it in to clamp it again. So here it is all finished. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.